Ladies, let's get honest for a moment. Sometimes we might have a little body odour and not even realise it. No one wants to be remembered as the grandma who smells, right? But here's the thing. It's rarely because we're neglecting hygiene. Most of the time, it's just those sneaky little habits that creep into our routines without us noticing. I've been guilty of it myself until a kind doctor opened my eyes to the real reasons. That's exactly why I want you to stick around. Today, I'm sharing 6 surprisingly common hygiene mistakes that could be affecting how you smell. And the best part? They're super easy to fix. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a like, subscribe to Voice of Wisdom, and share your favourite self-care tip in the comments. I absolutely love hearing from you. Let's jump into the first habit, wearing the same bra for too many days in a row. Be honest, how often do you wash your favourite bra? Every 2 wears? 4? Or do you sometimes go a whole week? Trust me, you're not alone. I've done it too. And if you're thinking, but I barely sweat, let me share what my doctor told me. It doesn't matter. Our skin constantly sheds and produces natural oils, even on our most relaxed days. All of that quickly builds up, turning your undergarments into a perfect spot for bacteria and odours to thrive. Now here's what no one told me for years. As we age, our skin becomes thinner and more delicate. That means it absorbs odour and bacteria more easily. And unfortunately, it also holds on to them. I had a cotton blend bra I loved to death. Wore it 3 days a week. It fit like a dream. But then one day I hugged my niece and she gave me that little wrinkled nose. She didn't say anything, bless her, but that look said it all. Something smelled off. It wasn't until I started rotating bras more frequently and actually washing them every 2 to 3 wears that things turned around. And yes, I said rotating. You should never wear the same bra 2 days in a row. The elastic needs time to recover, and your skin needs a fresh start. I also learned that materials matter. Some synthetic fabrics hold odour longer, even after washing. That's why I switched to breathable cotton bras with removable pads. Easier to wash, easier to dry, and far more forgiving. Now, I know doing more laundry can feel like a chore at our age, but think of it like this. A clean bra isn't just about hygiene, it's about dignity. It's about confidence. No one wants to be remembered as the sweet old woman with the not-so-sweet scent. Trust me, this tiny habit makes a big difference. 2. Not exfoliating underarms. This one shocked me when I first heard it, exfoliating your underarm. I had no idea that was even a thing. I mean, we exfoliate our faces, maybe our legs, sometimes our elbows, but our armpits never crossed my mind. Then I went to my dermatologist for what I thought was just age-related odour. You know what she said? You have a build-up of old deodorant, dead skin, and bacteria. I was mortified. She explained that most deodorants, especially the long-lasting ones we tend to favour, aren't fully washed away in the shower. Over time, they create a sticky film that traps odour, even if you bathe regularly. And that's what people start to notice, not just sweat, but this lingering sour scent that clings, no matter what perfume you wear. I was using antibacterial soap. I was showering daily, but I wasn't getting under the problem, literally. That doctor suggested I start using a soft exfoliating cloth or a gentle scrub just 2 or 3 times a week. Not a harsh scrub, nothing that tears the skin, just enough to remove build-up. And wouldn't you know it? Within a week, my underarms felt fresher, cleaner, and even smoother. Let me tell you, the first time I exfoliated properly, I was stunned. The washcloth turned a little grey. That was weeks of build-up I didn't even know was there. From then on, I made it part of my routine, especially in summer. You don't need fancy products. A washcloth and warm water can do the trick if you're consistent. And always rinse thoroughly afterward. Residue is what causes that tacky feeling that turns into odour later in the day. So yes, deodorant is important. But if you're not exfoliating under your arms once in a while, you're just layering new product on top of old grime. It's like putting perfume on top of old fish. Not a good mix. 3. Ignoring your shoes. Shoes. They support us, carry us through life. And if we're being honest, they're often neglected. You probably clean your floors, you vacuum your rugs. But when was the last time you cleaned the inside of your shoes? I'll confess something that's a little embarrassing. There was a stretch in my 70s where I had this one pair of orthopedic sandals I wore everywhere. Around the house, to the garden, quick trips to the store. They were so comfortable, perfect arch support, easy to slide on. But one day I caught a whiff of something unpleasant near the entryway. I blamed the dog. I blamed the grandkids. Turns out it was my shoes, and not the soles, the insides. Over time, our feet change. We sweat differently. Some of us develop more foot odour as we age, especially if we're on certain medications or have circulation issues. And because our sense of smell can also decline a bit with age, we might not even notice that our footwear has turned into a mobile odour trap. Here's what I learned. Most shoes, yes, even those expensive orthopedic ones, are washable. At the very least, the insoles can be removed and cleaned. I now air out my shoes in the sun at least once a week, sprinkle a little baking soda in them overnight and alternate pairs. And I always wear socks or footies, even with slip-ons. That tiny barrier keeps sweat from soaking into the lining and cuts down on odour by a lot. One of the best tips I got: use tea bags. Dry, unused black tea bags placed in your shoes overnight can absorb moisture and reduce odour naturally. And it's a whole lot cheaper than fancy sprays. Now, don't get me wrong, I still love my comfy old shoes, but I treat them with the same care I treat my skin. Because believe it or not, a lot of the odour people associate with ageing, they're not coming from you. They're coming from what's on your feet. 4. Using too much fragrance to mask odour. Oh, this one hits close to home because I used to be the queen of perfume. Ever since I was in my 20s, I had my scent. You know the one, the bottle that sits on your vanity, maybe with a tiny satin bow, maybe in a glass bottle that makes you feel a little more elegant with each spray. Mine was Chanel No. 5 for decades. A classic. I felt more me when I wore it. But let me tell you something I didn't understand until well into my 60s. There's a fine line between a signature scent and a cloud of cover-up. And that line gets thinner as we get older. As our skin changes with age, so does the way it holds onto fragrance. What once smelled light and floral in our 40s can turn heavy, even sour, in our 70s. Our body chemistry evolves due to menopause, medications, even what we eat. I didn't know this at first. All I knew was that one day I caught a whiff of my own perfume, and it didn't smell quite right. Not bad exactly, but not like me either. So what did I do? I sprayed more. That was my mistake. I assumed that if I couldn't smell it, no one else could. But, as I later learned, your nose adapts. The more you wear a scent, the less you notice it. But others don't lose sensitivity. I had one poor neighbour who always gave me hugs with that polite half smile and watery eyes. It wasn't until she gently said, "Your perfume is strong today," that I realised I had been walking around like a one-woman fragrance department. And here's the kicker. When you use perfume to cover body odour, whether it's from underarms, clothing, shoes, or even scalp, it doesn't neutralise the smell. It mixes with it. The result, a complex, often unpleasant blend that sticks in the air like bad soup. These days, I've made the switch. I keep a light, alcohol-free body mist for special occasions and rely more on staying clean than masking anything. I also started keeping a small bag of unscented baby wipes in my purse. Not for babies, just for me. If I'm out and about and feel like I've gotten a little ripe, I excuse myself, wipe down my neck, underarms and hands, and I feel fresh again. No clouds, no sneezing grandkids, just clean confidence. So yes, you can still wear fragrance, But use it as a flourish, not a disguise. And always remember, clean smells better than anything in a bottle. 5. Not washing your hair accessories. Let me ask you a question and be honest. When was the last time you washed your hairbrush, or your comb, or your favourite little scrunchie you keep in your purse? If you had to pause, you're not alone. For years I thought washing my hair was enough. But what I didn't realise was that every time I used that old brush or tied my hair up with the same elastic, I was reintroducing old oils, bacteria and product build-up back into my clean scalp. I had this velvet scrunchie I adored. Got it at a market in Italy back in the day. It was soft, a deep burgundy, and I wore it constantly. But after a few months, I noticed something strange. My scalp started itching a bit. My pillowcase smelled a little off. I chalked it up to age, but then I did a little test. I sniffed that scrunchie up close. I nearly dropped it. It smelled like old perfume, hairspray and, let's be honest, sweat. And that smell was rubbing against my scalp day in and day out. Most of us wouldn't think twice about changing a towel or washing pillowcases weekly. But our brushes and accessories, we forget them. Meanwhile, they're collecting sebum, dead skin cells, dandruff, and every bit of product we use. Gel, sprays, dry shampoo, you name it. Here's what I learned. Hairbrushes should be cleaned weekly. Take a comb or a pen to pull out the trapped hair. Then soak the brush in warm water with a little shampoo and baking soda. Let it sit for 30 minutes. Scrub with an old toothbrush and rinse. Dry thoroughly. As for scrunchies, headbands and fabric clips, they belong in your laundry just like socks. I now keep a little mesh laundry bag just for accessories. Every week, I toss in whatever I've used and give them a gentle cycle wash. No more weird scalp smells, no more itchy forehead, just clean, fresh hair that stays clean longer. The lesson: don't let the tools that help you look good become the very thing that makes you smell bad. They deserve care too. 6. Sleeping in worn pyjamas and sheets too long. Oh my goodness, I used to be terrible about this. I had this old flannel nightgown that I wore every winter night for almost a decade. It was warm, comforting, and had that broken softness I couldn't find anywhere else. But you know what else? It had years of skin cells, body oils, and traces of night sweats because I wasn't washing it nearly enough. It's easy to overlook, especially when you live alone or your partner's just as relaxed as you are. But your body doesn't stop functioning at night. In fact, some of us sweat more while we sleep than during the day. Tossing and turning, especially under thick blankets, creates a damp, warm environment, a breeding ground for bacteria and odour. Doctors say that your sheets should be washed at least once a week, pyjamas every 2 to 3 wears, especially in summer, but I know how tempting it is to stretch it out. I used to say, well, I'm not dirty when I go to bed, so it's fine. But here's the thing, even clean skin still sheds. You're lying in your own skin flakes, breath, drool, yes, we all do it, and perspiration every single night. I had a friend over once, my oldest friend from college, and she stayed the night. The next morning she was kind, but she asked me gently, "Do you ever wash your pillowcases more than once a month?" That was a wake-up call. I realised I had just gotten too comfortable, literally. Now I have a little system. I keep 2 full sets of sheets in rotation, one in the wash and one on the bed. I also keep a few pairs of fresh nightgowns or PJ sets folded in my dresser. I change them every other day without fail. And guess what? I sleep better, my skin looks better, and I wake up without that musty, sour smell clinging to my neckline or pillow. One last thing. Don't forget your actual pillows and mattress. I sprinkle baking soda on the mattress once a month, let it sit and vacuum it up. Keeps everything fresher. And I wash the pillows themselves twice a year. Clean bed, clean sleep, clean scent. It makes a world of difference. Final thoughts. Ladies, let's remember, aging is a gift, and there's so much beauty in every year we add to our stories. But that doesn't mean we have to overlook the little habits that help us feel fresh, comfortable, and confident every single day. Many of these small hygiene mistakes are things I once struggled with myself, and making a few simple changes made all the difference in how I felt and carried myself. Growing older gracefully means embracing who we are, while also caring for our health and well-being, inside and out. There's nothing wrong with wanting to feel good, look good, and leave a positive impression. After all, a little extra care goes a long way. If these tips helped you, I invite you to become a part of our wonderful community here at Voice of Wisdom. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your own favourite self-care or hygiene tips in the comments below. I love reading your stories and learning from your experiences. Together, let's keep embracing life, aging with confidence, and sharing our wisdom with the world.